You're listening to the Sales Chameleon Podcast. Smarter sales, stronger growth, simplified.
Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Sales Chameleon Podcast, where selling smarter starts. I'm Heather Coggins, and if you're ready to level up your sales game by really learning how to connect on a deeper level with any customer, you're in for a treat today. In prior episodes, I've talked about tailoring your pitch and reading the room, but now what I want to do is really dive into the subtle art of delivery and the skills that come along with being able to do that effectively. So adjusting your tone, adjusting your speed, and adjusting your language, and doing it in a way that really allows you to truly connect. Because, here's the deal, what you say matters, okay? And, I'm not sure if you all are familiar with the 7-38-55 rule, but there's a psychologist out there, I think his name is Albert Mehrabian. Hopefully I'm not butchering that too much, but according to this rule that was developed, when we as humans communicate in person, only 7% of the message is conveyed through the words that are spoken, okay? 38% are conveyed through tone of voice, and 55% through body language. So that means most of what's understood is going to come from those nonverbal cues like facial expressions and posture. And so how you say it can really make all of the difference. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead, break it down, and discover how small adjustments in your delivery can really turn those good conversations into a great one. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So let's talk about the importance of delivery. And what I want you to do is, think back to a time when you were really excited about something, okay? So maybe it was a restaurant recommendation or a new show, or maybe even just sharing some great news, right? And so maybe you tell your friend that you just found out you got a promotion, okay? Awesome, congratulations. Like, let's go out for dinner, let's go out for drinks, something to celebrate. And even if not to that level, you're at least looking for hey man, that's great, congratulations, that's awesome, right? But instead of that, imagine the person responds with a flat monotone, that's nice. How's that going to make you feel? Probably a little bit deflated, or at the least irritated, right? And so this is why delivery matters, okay? It's not just what you say, it's how you say it, your tone, your speed, your word choice. All of those creates an emotional connection, or it can, kind of leave out that emotional connection that may be well needed in that conversation. And so in sales, you can kind of think of this as your golden ticket to be able to really effectively build that trust and build that rapport with your prospects and your customers. And so when you're able to match your delivery to your customer style, you end up speaking their language both literally and figuratively. And the result of that ends up really being a smoother conversation with deeper connection, and then increased chances of you being able to close that deal, okay? So next, what I want to do is go ahead and dive into the 3 key elements of delivery, which are tone, speed, and language. So I'm going to start with tone, all right? Your tone is really going to set the emotional temperature of the conversation. If you're speaking to an analytical and you find that you need to adjust your tone, keep it calm and professional, okay? These are your logic-driven thinkers. And so if you have too much enthusiasm in your tone, that might come off as inauthentic. And so you want to make sure you're keeping it measured and you're keeping it steady. If you're speaking with a driver, be mindful of your tonality in the way that you are assertive and confident, okay? They're going to value directness and authority, so a no-nonsense tone is really going to resonate best with them. You don't want to have any kind of fluff or uncertainty in your tone. Then with our amiables, you want to make sure that your tone is warm and empathetic. Those are going to be key here, okay? Your amiables, they need to feel heard, they need to feel valued, and so when you're able to show understanding and patience in how you speak, that's going to go a long way with your amiables. And then finally, tone with expressives, okay? You want to match their energy and their enthusiasm. So these customers, they're going to be those ones that thrive on excitement. And so don't be afraid to bring some zest into that conversation and match the energy of their tone. All right, next is speed. And so it's really important to make sure that you're matching your customer's pace, because what that does is it really helps that conversation flow naturally, okay? And so when you're speaking to your expressives and your drivers, they're going to tend to speak a little bit faster. And so you want to make sure that you're picking up the pace to really keep them engaged. If they feel like you're talking too slow or you're, dragging your feet, you're just going to lose their attention. And then with our amiables and our analyticals, they're going to lean a little bit towards, more of a relaxed tempo. And so when you're talking to them, as far as your speed goes, make sure that you just slow down a bit and really match their rhythm and, create that comfortable vibe. And then finally is language. So as I've mentioned, the words you choose can either pull your customer in or really push them away. And so you just want to be very mindful of the language you choose. Okay, so let's customize our language based on the social style we're talking with. So again, starting with our analyticals, okay, when we're talking about the type of language we need to be using, we want to use technical terms, we want to be very specific and use logic-driven phrasing, okay? They're going to love details and precision. So instead of telling them this is going to improve your workflow, tell them, hey, this is going to reduce your processing time by 20% in the first quarter. And then with our drivers, you want to make sure you're sticking to those action-oriented phrases, okay? They're going to be all about results and efficiency. And so instead of saying this might help improve efficiency, tell them this is going to cut down in half, guaranteed, on your efficiency. All right? Then as we move into the amiables, you're going to want to make sure you're using relational and supportive type language, because they're going to care more about the human side of things, okay? So as an example, you might want to say something like, hey, this is going to make your team's day-to-day so much smoother and less stressful. And then with our expressives, you're going to want to make sure you're focusing on that visionary and that inspiring language, okay? They want the big picture. And so as an example, you can let them know, hey, this is a game changer that's really going to elevate your team's performance and position you as an industry leader. All right. And so when we combine these elements, you're not just delivering a pitch, you're really creating that tailored experience that's going to resonate with your customers' unique preferences. And today we really live in a world where customization is key. So make sure you're not falling behind and make sure that you're, combining those elements, you're leveraging those skills, and you're speaking your customer's language. And so let's go ahead and kind of pull in some practical examples and bring this to life with a few scenarios, okay? And so if we look at the analytical prospect, right? We're meeting with someone who loves details and loves data. For our tone, we want to make sure that we're calm and measured. We want to have a speed that's quick enough to stay engaging, but not rushed. And then our language should be very detail-oriented and specific, okay? So based on our research, this approach has shown a 15% increase in efficiency for companies in your industry. They're going to nod along because they're going to see that you've done your homework and they're going to value that precision, and that's going to keep that conversation moving along smoothly. Now with our driver prospect, they're going to start the meeting with, hey, I only have 15 minutes. What's the bottom line? Okay. So our tone, we're going to want to make sure that our tone is assertive and confident. We're going to want to make sure that we maintain a fast-paced speed to really match their energy. And the language we speak is going to want to cut straight to the chase, okay, and speak to outcomes. So we'll want to say something like, hey, here's the deal. This is going to save you 5 hours a week and boost output by 20%. Let's go ahead and talk next steps, right? They're going to appreciate that you're being direct and that you're providing that efficiency. Now, if we shift gears down to our amiable prospects, we're going to be speaking with those folks who really start by asking about our weekend, right? So our tone should be warm and approachable. We should maintain a speed that's a bit slower to really create that relaxed vibe. And then the language we use should really speak to how things are going to impact their team, right? So, hey, this solution is really designed to make things easier for your team. And so I'd love to hear how it aligns with their day-to-day needs. When you position your language in this way, they're really going to feel heard, they're going to feel cared for, and that's going to help you really build that trust. And then finally, we've got our expressive prospects, okay? They're going to open with, hey, I'm looking for something innovative. What do you have to offer? And so your tone with them, you want it to be energetic and enthusiastic. You want to maintain a speed that's slightly quicker to be able to match that excitement. And when with the language you use, you want to make sure that it speaks to that innovative thought processes and that big picture thinking. And so you'll want to say things like, hey, this is a groundbreaking solution that can completely transform how your team operates. And just imagine the possibilities, right? They're going to be drawn in by your energy and by your vision. And so when you kind of take these examples and put them into like real life scenarios, it really shows how those small tweaks in your delivery can make a massive impact on how your message is received, okay? And so I want to go ahead and start wrapping things up, bring this to a close with some key takeaways and an actionable item for you. And so if we start with our key takeaways, remember tone, speed, and language. So starting with tone, make sure you're matching your customer's emotional energy, right? So calm for analyticals, confident for those drivers, warm for your amiables, and then enthusiastic for expressives. With speed, you want to make sure you're adjusting your speaking pace to really keep that conversation natural and engaging. And then finally, with language, make sure that you are using the right words that really align with your customer's preferences. So again, logic for the analyticals, results for your drivers, connection for your amiables, and then vision for those expressives, okay? And so as your actionable item that you can kind of take away as like a fun little exercise to try, practice adjusting your tone, your speed, and your language with a friend or a colleague, and record yourself pitching the same product to each of the 4 social styles, and then get feedback on how well you were able to match their preferences, okay? The more you practice, the more natural it's going to become, and then the better your results are going to be. So that's a wrap for today's episode of the Sales Chameleon podcast. Again, I appreciate you tuning in. And remember, adjusting your delivery might seem like a small change, but it is most certainly a powerful way to be able to connect, build trust, and close more deals. Be sure that you're hitting that subscribe button so that you can make sure you don't miss an episode. And until next time, keep selling smarter, stay versatile, and I will catch you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Sales Chameleon podcast.